I'll give you a clue. It was Grimsby.
They are pressing quite well. What's happened there? You've got to be joking.
Oh, sorry, no, I've done it the wrong way around because I've drawn an arrow and I haven't seen it. Sorry.
He must have a horsey up his ass.
If we're playing on professional and that's happening for Barcelona,
2 years ago. Sorry about that. I don't know what that was.
I'm sorry, that's just put me off the game. I'm not having that.
Anyway, segue, moving on.
What has that got to do with football? Why is that at a football ground?
Hello and welcome to another ramble from the Honest Football Podcast, where we bring honesty back to the beautiful game. I'm Daniel Cody, and with me this week are Charlie Betts and Craig Savage.
Coming up, we've got disorder at football matches, Paul Scholes leaving Oldham, more Coventry City debacle, the African Cup of Nations final round of fixtures, the Beds FA celebrating 125 years, also any other business, and name the matchday squad. So how's your week been, guys?
It's been interesting.
Has it now?
You may notice in front of us we have a selection of slightly different sweet treats to normal.
It's the Easter theme.
It is the Easter theme, but I'm not worried
Even
about
though
the
Easter's another month away.
Yeah, I'm not worried about the Easter bit so much, because as Charlie's alluded to around the start of January, it's a bit too early. But what I wanted to talk about was something that's annoyed me this year is normally if you get the small egg variety, you've got cream egg is normal size, I'm going to refer to for the viewers who can't see us.
For a sort of ratio perspective.
Yeah, and
Which
mini
are horrible,
eggs,
by the way. Unpopular opinion, they're horrible.
they are horrible,
Oh,
I
I
agree.
don't know about that.
I agree with Craig
oh
Savage.
my God,
It's a
really?
popular opinion in the room.
Yeah,
No,
2-1.
However, the only ones, if you said small Easter eggs, immediately everyone says mini eggs.
Mini eggs.
yeah.
Mini
Definitely.
eggs.
Mini eggs.
This year, for some reason, there's fucking hundreds of other brands trying
Well,
to
you
copy
got
them.
Lindt mini
We
eggs.
have.
You've got Smarties mini eggs. You know, you got, and the ones that we got.
I'm
got
holding
the
a dairy milk mini egg in my hand right now, which I know you can get the Cadbury's caramel variety as well.
Yeah.
Does that constitute a mini egg, or because it's smaller than a cream egg but bigger than a mini egg?
And more importantly,
It's an egg.
more
Yeah, but
importantly,
it's-
you get them in a sharing pack like you do mini eggs and all of these other rip-offs. Why are the individual eggs in a fucking wrapper, can someone tell me? Because hang on, if you get a multi-pack of...
This is a question for the Food Network.
Let's say we get 12 bites or something like
Yeah.
that. If you open a pack of 12 bites, do you have individually
I
wrapped
do
12s?
agree, like minstrels, Galaxy, the minstrel
yes,
ones, they're not
yeah,
individually
sure.
wrapped.
Mini eggs, who are also made by Cadbury's.
Yeah.
They're not... I just don't understand.
Yeah, but
And
the ones we got right now are M&Ms.
We've got M&M eggs as well,
But
which are a
then-
shit rip-off. And
I
by
was
the
about
way...
to say, what's in an M&M egg that isn't in a mini egg?
It tastes exactly the same as
it's a slightly thinner shell and not quite as hard, but...
Is it Nestle? Is it Nestle?
I've got to say, upon inspection, I will say there's a slight more of a glaze on the...
I did not expect it to
No,
be that
I was just saying, no, if you look up now, look. Under the light, there's more of a glaze on the
there's a
mini
shine,
egg,
there's a
on the
little bit of
M&M
shine.
egg, sorry, than the mini egg.
Yeah.
no, I'm
You've
just-
said it in a very darkly lit
And
room.
there's, a letter, and there's a letter M on it as well, so just to prove that it's actually
But considerably
M&M's
smaller.
egg.
But I wanted to rant about, and I bought these three because they're the best of the selection. I wanted to rant about a couple of others.
Go on.
So the main one is the fourth one, which I tried yesterday, which are Smarties mini eggs. Now,
I mean, Smarties, you just stick to Smarties.
let me tell you something.
Always stick to
The
small.
problem with the Smarties mini eggs is they've kept the thick shell. And they are
no.
fucking horrible. Because you know, like orange Smarties, and they've got the taste of orange on the outer shell. But that's half of the thing. It's horrible. Absolutely horrible. And then the other one is Milky Bar mini eggs.
Ooh,
Which
they're
obviously
nice.
white chocolate. They might be nice, but as we've discussed before, there's a reason that the Cadbury's Dream Bar didn't work. And that's because if you have a choice between milk chocolate and white chocolate, you pick milk chocolate.
I'll be honest, I was thoroughly annoyed when they took the Dream Bar out of the Heroes box.
That is true.
Because you needed that white
Well,
chocolate
it looks
balance in
like,
there.
after all that, I've got the unpopular opinion. But I was just very upset that
I'm surprised Smarties have delved into mini eggs.
Smarties mini eggs, they're awful, and they do an orange only one, and I don't. It
Oh,
seems
no,
like a
that's-
master.
yeah, I've
Just some
seen
of
that,
for
I've
me,
seen
I think they're dividing their sort of people who would buy it because you know you either go for Smarties or mini eggs. You don't go for both because they're
Well,
similar.
it could be worse. You can get a cheese flavoured egg.
Yes, you did mention this in a week, and it surprised me a bit.
Cheese.
So
Apparently
please explain.
Sainsbury's
cheese flavoured or made from
made
cheese.
from cheese
That's
and shaped as an egg.
That's disgusting.
Sainsbury's are doing it. Not in my sort, thank God, because I think I'll just throw it in the bin.
I couldn't agree more, and I just want to know, will someone
foul.
tell me, get down in the comments and tell me, why the fuck are so many people copying mini eggs? And if you work for whoever makes M&Ms and whoever makes Smarties and whoever makes Milky Bars, then tell me what the fuck's going on, Summer.
Well, it's just like your Premier League advent calendar.
It
right?
is.
Shall
we get on to football? Really?
Yeah,
As
what we're
it's the football
actually here for.
podcast.
So what football have you lads watched this week?
Well, obviously we're not a Premier League podcast, but we went to watch Premier League. And
Well,
got a bit
yeah,
drunk.
we sort of went to we basically went to a pub all day on Sunday as more of a
Nice.
social thing, and football happened to be on.
You abandoned our roots.
Football wasn't
I did.
the winner.
Yeah.
But
Well, annoyingly though, they wouldn't. We actually wanted to watch the Birmingham Villa game, but they wouldn't put that on, which we'll talk about later on.
Obviously, for obvious reasons. I wanted to talk about another game that happened on Sunday, which was Hanover v Bayer Leverkusen.
Yes, I'm excited
Now,
about this.
it became quite a viral hit because it was absolute blizzard weather for the first half. The game got stopped 3 times in the first half, and the players actually went off once as they were clearing the lines with brooms, and there were loads of people going.
can't go wrong with that, mate. I love that.
And at one end, they had 3 people working really quickly, and at one end, they had 1 working really slowly. So one of the players came and took the broom off him and just wheelied it down the line
I'd
quickly.
tell you what, though, if Jurgen Klopp was there, he would have moaned about that.
Well, it certainly would have hampered their chances.
Yeah.
But I wanted to talk about a goal, or nearly a goal, or what should have been a goal in a normal game.
or basically a shot.
Yes, essentially. A Hanover. You may have seen a Hanover player went through, composed, rounded the keeper, put a lovely shot towards the goal, which would have rolled in on any other day, and it stopped dead a yard from the line in the snow and was cleared away. The defender had given up on it, stopped, and then the ball suddenly stopped a yard from the line. He thought, "Oh, I better go and get that," and off he cleared it.
Well,
and
it's
the goal
not-
never
it's not-
stood.
it was quite an important.
They lost by 1 late goal.
That's what I had to say. Yeah, they lost
no.
3-2, didn't they? So it was
Could've
an
gone to VAR.
important moment in the game.
And
that-
they
it's
are
not the first
right
time
in a
we-
dogfight down the bottom as well.
It's not the first time we've seen it. Obviously, that happened with Woking last season.
It did.
And that pretty much got them relegated. And also, I remember seeing a goal many years ago in Holland where guy's gone through and goal, ball goes through the keeper's leg. He's gone off celebrating, arms swinging, and then the ball stops just before the line, and he's still swinging. And next thing, like everyone's realised that this ball's still in play.
That's See, there's such a thing as celebrating too early, isn't
Yeah,
there?
it's
Always wait till the ball crosses the line.
Should we move on to our ground hopping experience from midweek?
Oh yes.
So for the first time this season, we all went to watch a game together. Because
Not the first time we've all bought a ticket, but the first time we've all been to a game.
Well, if you heard from the earlier podcast, me and Cody went to watch Hitchin versus Solihull Moors in the FA Cup first round, but Charlie couldn't make it for christening reasons. But we all decided to go to the Grassroots Stadium to watch Tring Athletic under-18s versus Croydon Green under-18s.
I mean, before we begin with the football, I was quite impressed that they gave you a proper mug to drink your tea out of. Normally you get the paper cup.
Oh,
cups.
yeah,
We've
the
got a proper
styrofoam
porcelain mug,
cups, yeah.
So yeah, no, that was impressive. But yeah, no, it was
Thoughts on the game?
interesting.
I'm going to be honest, and I'm sorry if anyone's watching from the two sides. It was a slightly poorer standard. than I expected.
Yeah.
I saw a bit of a leap as to why the English game still isn't quite as developed technically as the German, Spanish, Dutch, etc. But two teams working hard, and a lovely stand we were in, by the way. Proper seats.
Oh, yeah,
It's a
yeah.
lovely stand.
Loved it.
I will say. No, I think the one thing that I took away from that was that I know I'll keep this part anonymous, but there was a team there who I thought had some half decent players, and particularly they had a number 10 in the middle of the park, and then they played the complete opposite football to what would have suited the players that they had.
I know you're saying you're keeping it anonymous, but it's only one of 2 teams.
Well, yeah, no, but do you know what I mean? Like, yeah, but as in,
The number team
No,
for
but
that size.
I think for me that highlighted that sometimes people maybe are very limited as to, right, I want to play this way, and regardless of what players I've got, I'm going to do that. And I think that's something I took away, even at youth level, that sort of happened. But
I think when you notice when you play the game at that age, do you not know? Do you think you realise it more when you're watching on the side, like in the stands?
I do think. I mean, we've obviously. I think when you're that age, you have such an enthusiasm and all of that. I think that's something that I've realised that you know when you see someone like I don't know something simple like the defenders facing pretty much in the corner facing his own goal line, and you just see a centre forward go flying into the back of him because they're so desperate to win the ball. And you look now at, getting closer to 30 or more or less 30, and you sort of think, why would you do that?
Speaks for the two of you.
Well, yeah, but
30
even you, Dan, you know what I mean, mid-20s, you look now and you think, why would you do that? But at that age, I remember doing similar sort of stuff because you're just so desperate to impress and you're so desperate to...
I guess I was the granddad of football at that age because I used to moan at people for doing
Well, yeah.
Grow up!
Do you know what for me, the last thing I'll say about
Yeah.
youth football I found, even at that level, because ultimately the under-18s are trying to get into either the reserves or the first team for their respective clubs, and that was both teams that were there.
Yeah.
Do you know the bit that I found difficult at that age, regardless of what clubs I was playing for, under-18s and below, is you're playing as part of a team, but essentially you're playing for yourself because you want to look good to get into...
You want to progress.
Do you know what I mean? Because at that age, you're not really doing it to win a cup or win a thing. And that, I think it's a very difficult mentality to get your head around to hope that maybe your other centre-half, if your centre-half has a slightly bad game, but you still want to win because obviously you want to be successful.
I guess the bigger problem I've seen watching youth football at lower lower league standard or local standard is that obviously there's far more of a disparity between the players than you'd get at, say, if you watch, say like an under-19 Champions League game, the talent is fairly similar across the board.
Yeah.
Whereas if we're talking about local levels,
they're there every day, they train every day, so
exactly, and they've been cherry-picked.
Well,
Yeah, that's true.
absolutely.
Whereas at this level, you don't have that. So, for example, you're saying about looking good. That number 10, for example, on that day, who I agree looked a fantastic player, he possibly wouldn't play the pass that he thought was best because he knew his teammate's not going to react and it's going to make him look shit. And that's a problem we've had in the English game for years. We've talked about the technical side of it, as have many people from elite level down to the bottom.
Yeah.
But it's something that
I just
probably
think-
isn't going to be addressed for us.
No,
soon,
nothing about
unfortunately.
dragging on. I agree that at that same point he wants to impress because he wants to play adult. He wants to break into those adult teams,
And it leads to people, particularly in attacking positions, keeping the ball a bit too much.
Yeah, because you want to. It's a difficult mentality to play for a team, but essentially to do it to elevate your own personal success. Really, I think it's quite a difficult place.
An
to be.
enjoyable experience, a very nice ground, and a lovely mug, as you two said, for the tea.
And now it's time for Ramble of the Week. So we're going to start off with trouble scenes over the weekend. Fans invading the pitch. Obviously, the main one was the Birmingham derby between Birmingham and Aston Villa.
Yeah,
Birmingham fan went on the pitch to punch Jack Grealish from behind, the coward.
Yeah. 2 days before there was one in Scotland, wasn't there?
2 days, one was in Scotland on James
And then
Tavernier.
later the same afternoon,
Same
Chris
day
Smalling.
on Chris Smalling. So, why are we going back to old roots of going onto the pitch? What is the urge of people running onto the pitch?
Do you know, that obviously a bit more come out about the fella from Birmingham. I know he's been sentenced and stuff now. No, sorry, the one in the Birmingham game, sorry. He was there with his dad, by the way. I think he was about 27.
He's 27, yeah.
He was there with his dad. Has he got a kid or
Yeah,
two
he's got-
kids?
he's
Whatever.
got a
He's
kid,
got children,
yeah.
regardless.
Yeah.
Like, at what point do you think that's a good idea? Like, does he say to his dad, "Oh, hold my phone. I'm going to go on there and lamp Jack Grealish"? I don't.
I couldn't understand it.
I think the more important bit of it is actually the person who hit the nail on the head was Marcelo Bielsa, who came out and said, what you've got to look at, where this happens in pretty much every country occasionally, is the background, which is they all have the common links, which is an unhappiness in personal life or troubled circumstances behind the scenes. And it's not like a football manager to hit the nail on the head. I know Marcelo Bielsa's put across as an intelligent man and he's proved it, but there does seem to be a sort of push when this happens in football that it's football's problem.
Yeah.
The same with other situations we've seen before, sexism, racism. It's just a reflection of society.
Yeah, no, I agree with you on that. I do.
We see society. We've seen racist instances. We've seen sexist instances.
The problem is I think how do you stop that? Like, I mean, obviously we're not going to decide that between the three of us right now, but how do you move forward from that? Because I think we obviously know it was a horrific scenes this weekend and whatever else has happened in the previous
Just
month.
imagine doing that in your own job, don't you?
Yeah,
Right,
but how do you
Exactly.
stop that? Do you then have to get those nets they used to have up in
Like
the
in Germany,
70s?
they have one.
Or was it in Germany having
You don't
do
want
you
to go back to
invest more in
fences.
security? Because I mean, I don't agree with Vinnie Jones's opinions on football at all. But he said football is one of the sort of different industries where you have millions and millions of pounds of talent in an area, and you've got people who are not even on minimum wage protecting them. Whereas if you applied that to say Hollywood, you've got people who are actors.
Absolutely.
They've got personal bodyguards. Now, obviously, you can't have that in football, but are we cutting corners on security when you talk about the value of the talent on the pitch? I don't know.
You have to remember these stewards obviously are not trained enough to.
Agreed. So that's what I mean. Is that how we solve it? Do we do that?
The thing that really annoys me in this debate, because most of the arguments this week have centred around stewarding and security, and we're talking about a group of, well, in all three instances, grown men running onto a football pitch. With the greatest respect, I think a couple of people highlighted it. You shouldn't need security at a football match.
No, agreed.
Fully grown
No,
adults should
no.
know how to behave themselves.
No.
And saying, the stewards on minimum wage, they're not good enough,
Yeah.
With the greatest respect, I think it was Ian Wright who said it, is if you're on £8 a week, why are you going to put your body on
Oh no, I
it?
totally
Exactly,
agree.
yeah,
I totally agree.
totally agree.
I remember I went to West Ham were playing Chelsea, where I was at some season ticket a few years ago. And this is no reflection on the fact that she was female, but there was a steward. So a Chelsea fan tried to cross the. No, hear me out. There was a steward, a Chelsea fan tried to cross the little divide there.
I remember seeing it on the TV.
Yeah, and get over. And with all due respect, this woman was barely 4 foot. This bloke was 6 foot, whatever, fueled with beer. If he wanted to, he'd have just steamrolled it. And that's not. I'm not saying that because she's a woman, but in terms of her
So
physical
it would have been the
stature-
same for a 16-year-old boy, isn't
Exactly, and that's what I'm saying. And I'm just using her as an example of one that I've seen. the people who are doing it, they're like students and things like that, and I just sort of feel like, is that where we're going wrong?
So, for example, I'm a season ticket holder at Luton. I sit on the front row, and in front of where I sit there's a gap to the pitch where you can just walk on, basically.
Yeah.
And the two stewards that sit there, they've upped it to 2 from 1, and it's just 16 to 20-year-olds, college kids who are trying to earn 30 quid at the weekend.
I mean, I did listen to something they were saying about, you know, the when these volatile games are timed. Do we need to look at that? For example, Rangers Hibs is always going to be a volatile thing because without going into too much of the politics of it. Should that have been on a Friday night when people go to
Birmingham Villa was at midday?
Yeah, true.
What do you need? The kick off at 10:30 in the morning?
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Leave Birmingham.
I'm not saying I agree, but I'm just presenting, you know.
Leave Birmingham City Centre shut for the Saturday night, and then they just go.
The problem with all
you
of
have to
these,
drop that in that you've been to Birmingham, didn't you? You had to.
The problem with all of these issues.
Recently.
The problem with the security issues and things like that and all of those alternative suggestions is that's not solving the problem.
No.
All you're doing is beefing up the security to protect the problem.
Yeah.
But even then, those fans are still a risk to the other fans sitting in the stand with them, who may be families, wives, children, you know, whatever.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I don't... It's like, if you look at other things that have happened socially, and I'm not going to name them, but, you know, that catch on. Once it becomes a bit of it snowballs a bit, doesn't it? People see it, it looks...
Well, I saw in the week.
Maybe giving the fella a jail term, that might put, you know...
Hopefully that should... I did see in the week, Colchester at home, I think it was, and 2 kids ran onto the pitch. Just didn't go near the players, just ran on the pitch because they think it was cool because the Birmingham fan went on the pitch, the Arsenal fan went on the pitch, and the Hibs fan went on the pitch.
Yeah.
Now, for getting kids to go on the pitch is a worrying sign.
Yeah, that is worrying.
But we've seen it before, you know, as kids... You're gullible. You imitate things.
Yeah.
That's advertising targets children because we're gullible at that age.
We see footballers like want to put on masks or do a celebration or whatever, and people or do a skill talking popular football. They want to obviously imitate that and try and copy it.
And unfortunately, that's going to happen for the negative side of the game as well.
What I will say, just to finish my little part on this, the flip side of it, of Jack Grealish then scoring the winner. That for me was a beautiful moment in football. That's beautiful.
To be fair, he's had a lot of critics, and I've been one of them for the way he's handled himself in the early stage of his career.
I think he's been absolutely superb.
He dealt with that brilliantly.
Yeah, to just sit there, you know, obviously it's the shock of getting hit, to not react to it and all that.
As did a lot of the Birmingham players, to be fair. And
Yeah.
similarly in the other instances, the opposition players were very good as well. So it's just something where we've got to teach responsibility. It can't just carry on being accepted.
Do
we really want to get to the stage where we're like Germany or Italy or whatever, and we have big nets up in front of us?
So
back to the 70s over here, wasn't it? That's what it was like.
So obviously Birmingham have been charged for it. What do you
Arsenal
think?
have been charged as well.
Arsenal have been charged. Obviously Villa got charged for how players reacted before the incident, shall I say. What do you think the outcome should really be?
Well, I do think it's harsh on the clubs because it's punishing the masses for minorities.
It's a bit of a worrying subject for me because I link it back to something really small and trivial, which is school, which Charlie will know well. So quite often in school you have a policy where one kid talks out of turn and the whole class gets
Well, if you
attention.
remember, I posted something on our WhatsApp group about someone who'd messed up a toilet, and I threatened to keep them all in until they'd admitted it.
And I was very against this.
Yes.
I
the problem
wasn't.
is-
But it worked. So
the problem when you talk about something
No,
more
no.
serious like this is that if everyone's getting punished, is there not then a risk that more people say, well, if I'm getting punished anyway, I might as well do it?
No, I totally agree. Yeah, and that's the... You know, I think when you do that with sort of kids, you're hoping they're not clever enough to realise that. But adults, yeah, of course, they're gonna latch onto that. And
It becomes a societal response, and there needs to be a programme of education because everything in the end boils back down to education. And you know, if people haven't got it, teach them it.
Yeah.
It becomes down to anything in life, even if it's learning how to
Yeah.
kick a football, learning how to ride a bike.
I think it just
learning how to
saddens-
behave yourself at a football
Yeah,
ground.
no, I
Teach people.
totally agree with you. I think it just saddens me that we're really having
We
to
have to
teach
do
people how to be responsible at a spectator sport. You know, that worries me. But no, I think you're right. I think that's the way to sort of move on.
I think it's what are they like outside the ground.
Yeah, but I think that's what he's talking about, isn't it? The social... I can't even say it.
You're struggling today, ain't you?
Yeah, I know. What the social picture looks like in those particular areas. You know...
Well, we've seen it in Luton ourselves, haven't we? We've
Yeah.
got a reputation as a town. We've got a reputation of a football club. And let's be honest, the reputation of the town and the football club, some of the fans match.
Yeah, no,
It's the
I
same
totally
in many
agree.
places, and unfortunately education changes.
But yeah.
But the town's on the rise.
Should we move it on to... Well, I'd say more positive. It's not really, is it? But another story that broke this week.
A slightly more trivial one in terms of the grand scheme of things.
Well, there's a bit of a to and fro with Paul Scholes and Oldham, isn't there? You know, his story,
I've got
his
some
version.
statements.
Yeah, and then what they said, what he said is quite interesting.
So Paul Scholes has left Oldham Athletic within 31 days of being in charge.
He has.
Not by mutual consent.
Not by mutual consent. He resigned via text.
Well, this is the thing, because obviously...
Which is very old school non-league.
Yes, it is. We had it with Ashton United, didn't we, in reversal, where he got sacked by text. One of the things that got me with this is at first Paul Scholes came out and said, I'm not going to be able to work the way I was promised and things like that. And we've seen that at a lot of clubs where that has been the case. And he resigned, and I thought, fair play, because you could have stayed, you could have done something awful and got the money to pay out. Not that it would have been much money.
No, he's got enough.
Right.
The problem is that the Oldham chairman then came out with his statement, didn't he?
Yes.
So I have got that statement here because I am a professional and I've prepared properly. He said he was surprised by the reasons given by the former Manchester United midfielder because he'd given him all the support and autonomy that he'd asked for. He's been in Dubai the last couple of weeks with the ease of knowing that Scholes was in charge and hadn't interfered at all. He was surprised as he was simply resigned by text via the WhatsApp messenger on Wednesday afternoon. I sounded like a very old grandad there.
Other messengers are available.
Yeah, Facebook Messenger,
No, don't advertise them.
MySpace
That's the whole point of saying other ones are available. You don't advertise them. Right,
and has refused to discuss matters that influence his decision. That's the big thing for me, is why is Paul Scholes, if we're led to believe all the things that have come out, why is Paul Scholes not willing to discuss it? I've got a second opinion on this afterwards. But, they both agreed there's potential in the team. He reassured him he had his fullback in to rebuild a team of his choice next season.
But has he won 1 in 7, hasn't he? So
he has, and it was his first one he won. He didn't raise any concerns at all to the board before his resignation. So I'm not quite sure what's going on.
It does seem a bit left field then, if you put it like that.
My ulterior motive theory here is that Salford are starting to win games again.
I knew he was going to do that.
The stock's
You
going to
always
rise.
have a bitter problem
The
with
stock's going to
Salford
rise.
City.
No, this isn't a bitter problem.
It
What I'm
is.
saying is, if they get promoted, their stock's going to rise and his share's going to be worth more money. So why would
You've
you want
got
to be
your
out
Oh,
of
the
that?
conflict of interest. Oh, I
You've
see.
got your
where you go.
tinfoil
That conflict of
hat
interest
on.
that didn't exist.
Your tinfoil hat on.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's...
Where does it leave young English managers from elite levels? We've seen Steven Gerrard unfortunately struggling a little bit at the moment in Scotland. I know Lampard's doing an okay job, but even they've dropped out of the playoffs now, Derby.
You just wonder what... It's hard when you get two conflicting stories where, you know, Paul Scholes is saying, he was too involved, he was trying to meddle too much, and then you've got the fella saying, well, actually, I was in Dubai, I couldn't have been... But you don't physically have to be there to be able to do that.
But the thing is, what the other previous managers have to say about the owner, because obviously they've had, 5 in the last 2 years?
Yeah, about that.
Yeah.
So,
I think Scholes was the 5th.
Yeah. So, obviously there's a real problem. I know they got relegated last season, but
And
there is a problem.
We've mentioned at least twice this season about late wages, financial problems and things like that behind the scenes. I guess the thing is, we'll never know the truth in the middle.
No.
Unless one of them comes out and admits it. But I did want to make one little point about Scholes, which was, he was obviously a pundit for BT Sport beforehand, and he spent the first half of the season,
What is wrong with you two?
slating Jose Mourinho,
Yeah.
saying it shouldn't matter if the board didn't give you a centre half, you've got great talent to work with. And when he came to Oldham, he said he's got great talent to work with. And now he's saying he can't do it because of the board.
The only
But
thing that I would say...
it depends on how much involved the...
But we're not in a transfer window. I mean, they can't buy or sell him.
No.
If he's in Dubai, he's not picking the team. I'm interested to know what
But
areas.
what I would say is Oldham is a club that Paul Scholes has always supported. It's you know,
It's his
you wouldn't leave that
boyhood
club like,
dream.
it would be like, obviously, I know we're not, but if we were pros and you got the chance to manage Luton, you know, you're not going to leave that just because there's a meddling chairman. You know, if you really supported them and you were passionate about them, I don't know. I don't
understand. I can get if there was a meddling chairman and it was you're not going to get to rebuild the squad you want, that, well, I'm going to go at the end of the season.
Yeah.
But he can't meddle now.
No.
Unless he comes in and says, I want to pick the team, or tries to pick the team, in which case Paul Scholes should be saying he tried to pick the team.
Yeah.
Which I know Paul Scholes would say that. I'm pretty sure I believe that if that tried to happen, he would say
I think with
that.
Scholes says how he sees it, to be fair. So,
But he hasn't on this. There's so much...
Do you know what I find a little bit, and I'm going a bit into a bigger picture here, you do find that these lads who were one-club men, who've been in a massive successful unit such as Manchester United throughout the 90s and 2000s, when they then have to go to a lower league club where things maybe weren't run as slick and professional as what they... Do you know, there's a great... I was talking to someone at work actually today. And
It doesn't have to be a one-club man.
No, what I'm saying is that elitism to then step down. Brilliant example of this, and... So I was speaking to a fellow at work, and he was saying that his mate was worked in Manchester. He's like a trampoline trainer thingy-majig. Anyway, just go with me. And Ryan Giggs was due to come there as like a sponsorship thing, but also, you know, when he was doing his yoga and all of that.
Yes.
Apparently trampoline is good for flexibility and stuff.
It is.
Ryan Giggs turned up in a shirt and jeans. And the fella said, yeah, so if you just get changed, Ryan, we'll come and, you know, we'll do the little bit of training and the demo and that. And Ryan Giggs said, oh, where's my kit? And the fella was like, well, this is just like a sports hall. You got to bring your own training kit. You know what I mean? And it's that expectation that everything's done for you at that level of the game. Because it would have been at Manchester United. He'd have had his training kit. He'd have had his boots laid out. So he's turned up even at the sports function expecting the kit to be there. And I'm not saying that is the case with Paul Scholes, but when he says, you know, he wanted complete autonomy, was it actually that he was trying to work well outside of his realms of possibility?
I guess
with things like that.
I guess another one that would be really good as an example of that is one that the manager who was involved actually spoke about. Is a club that I've got a bit of a soft spot for. The other Hatters, Stockport County. Diddy Hammam went there when they went down to the National League and had one of the bigger budgets in the league because obviously they've got big gates and it all went wrong for him and he left on the brink of the relegation zone and he spoke out about it pretty much as you've said, which is it might be the same game. It's a completely different world.
Yeah, it's not the glitz and glamour that you would have seen in the Premier
is
League.
that maybe where Paul Scholes, you know, was trying to get
well,
himself
I don't know,
out?
because he would have gone to Salford games, so you think
yeah, but it's one thing to be a director of, or whatever he was. What was he? Shareholder.
But the thing is, he's been. I wouldn't say got involved, but like he was there at games where obviously when Salford were in the Northern
I
Premier
don't
League.
think the games would necessarily be the issue. I think it's the day-to-day training where you've only got, say, a couple of bags of football to last you the next 3 months. You've only got, you know, training kit. There's not even enough training kit for everyone. You know, those sort of scenarios that do happen in lower league football.
If we believe the stories earlier in the season, like you say with the owner, where there have been financial problems, staffing problems. More importantly for me is not being able to have the coaching team you want could potentially be
because I mean,
an issue.
we've maybe all been in that situation where you go to take a training session or something like that and you come out there and there's no balls or they're not pumped up or stuff like that. And if you come from Manchester United and your only other football experience is Manchester United, to then go to a club like you say where they're short of money, so maybe not enough equipment, or the goalkeeping coach isn't in anymore because they've had to release him because they haven't got enough money, as an example, that sort of stuff. That's maybe, for me, that would make logical sense as to why he's gone so early. But
you've been watching that Peterborough documentary, haven't you?
No, he's watching the real Kashmir documentary because the ball wasn't pumped up and the bottles weren't full and he had a tip.
Yeah, I don't know. We can talk about this for hours, but I'm just thinking that would make more sense.
I guess the thing out of it was we'll never know, but it just smells a bit, doesn't it?
No.
Well, we just have to wait and see, don't we?
Anyway, should we move it on? Coventry City.
Yes.
Yeah, so the owners have finally spoke for the first time in years, and obviously
it's another story of conflict in
God, we got to stop
media outlets.
Yeah, so basically, the owners released a statement saying we will drop our lawsuit with Coventry City Council if
we get £28 million
and we can get a football ground with planning permission. So obviously they haven't even thought of where the ground's going to be so far.
It just again, it sniffs a bit of something where they've just come out with something that they think will be enough to appease the fans. They panicked
because obviously they've gone past their deadline of telling the EFL where they're going to be playing next season.
But I don't know if you remember a previous Luton owner, David Pinkney.
Oh God,
he came in between after the scandal with the Bungs, the Bill Tomlins documentary and all that, and before 2020. He came and he said he's going to revolutionise the club. Here's my plan for a 22,000 stadium. I don't know where it's
Junction 12.
It might be at Junction 12. I haven't actually bought the land, got planning permission, or even made
I remember that being in there, yeah.
Because he was like a British touring car driver.
Yeah, he was, yeah.
And then obviously we went back into administration 6 months later, and it turned out he had no money, didn't know what he was doing, and had never been in business really before. So this one reeks very similarly to me. They've said we want 28 million, which we feel that the Coventry Council had underfunded the stadium by when they sold it to Wasps. You know,
that's a lot of money.
Why sell it to Wasps in the first place?
I just feel like this is another, especially a club who used to have such stature and things, and just to have essentially have the heart and soul ripped out of it.
Well, you compare the two differences between like obviously Coventry and Bolton in their situations now to Blackpool now, with the owner finally gone and the fans returning to the stadium, sell out.
The difference being they've got a stadium to return to, which at the minute Coventry haven't even got that. So you know, there's not really much to go for them, is there? I think as a fan, if you're a lifelong Coventry fan, this has got to be absolute desperate
and
times, hasn't it?
Me and Cody went to watch Luton v Coventry the other week, and I got respect for Coventry fans because obviously what they have to go through.
And respect for the Luton fans who applauded their protests and all of that. And obviously we're one of the clubs who know the position they've been in. Not so much with the stadium because it's just been trying to find
a new
get
stadium.
planning permission.
But
But in
yeah.
terms of the financial irregularities
Yeah.
behind the scenes,
Yeah.
it's something that's been quite
But once
common.
again, the EFL have done nothing to help them.
But I did want to talk about Coventry City Council's reply, which
Yes.
basically just shouted down all of the lies that CISA had told and put it behind the scenes. So they said, you know, if they were serious about the building, they would just drop the litigation and get on
And-
with it,
and that
not
for me-
start demanding
They
about
need to
money
accept
and
it
sites
and move on.
That for me is the biggest issue out of all of it. If they were that serious, it'd just be dropped. But anyway,
And
that's,
again, I said it's regrettable that the owners of our city's great football club continue to trot out the same stupid arguments about the conduct of others while completely failing to take responsibility that the club finds itself in under their stewardship.
Yeah.
It's just a reminder, you know you're in charge of the club and you're the reason it's in this
Yeah,
position.
exactly, and that's the thing.
And all of this leads back to something Craig said 100 times, and every time we have a debate like this, Craig finishes it by saying, what a fit and proper person test.
Yeah.
Did I ever say that?
You've said that
Oh, you said
many
that
times.
countless times, yeah.
Countless
I
times.
generally
The
don't
fit and
remember
proper
saying that.
person test. Who
Yeah,
the
well,
fuck
yeah.
is doing the fit and
Oh,
proper?
Exactly.
yeah,
Oh,
I mean,
absolutely. Yeah, it's
you
the
look
same
at
thing. It's the same
recently,
thing with Bolton.
Ken
It's the
Anderson,
same
yeah.
thing.
Charlton,
Charlton,
Notts County
Coventry,
now, if it
Notts
happens.
County, maybe.
It's
What on earth are
absolutely
the
baffling.
EFL doing? It's
No,
ludicrous.
I totally agree. I totally agree.
Absolutely.
And how many times
ludicrous.
it's happened with Portsmouth last
Portsmouth,
year?
about-
Luton.
I mean, there's some big clubs, but you talk about Coventry City, a city, you know, a club that serves a whole city. There's no other clubs in the city of professional standard, you know. For this to be happening at a club of that size in that area, it's baffling, absolutely baffling.
And the thing is, in this situation, it's not like everyone's being edgy. Bath and Coventry City Council, by the face of things, look like they're quite willing to try and help.
Yeah.
But they're just saying, why are you trying to charge us
Yeah.
28 million? That's not the way to go about it.
I go back to the point you made a bit earlier on. If they were that serious about it, they wouldn't even be in this. You know, if
They
yeah.
wouldn't have left it so late.
Yeah, and they wouldn't have demanded that ludicrous, you know, thing. So I think, yeah, until
We
they are
sympathise with the Coventry fans and hope that it finally finds a sensible conclusion.
Shall we talk about actual football, as in football matches, for a little bit?
Yeah.
So this, by the time it's next weekend.
What continent are we going
We're
to,
going to
Charlie?
Africa, but it's not African Chronicles because we're not doing that anymore.
Scrap
No, I'm
it.
joking. No. But the African Cup of Nations qualifiers, by the time this video goes out and our next one will be recorded, it wouldn't have happened. So it's actually next weekend, but we're not going to meet up before the first set of fixtures are played because it's all
Next midweek.
next midweek basically.
Right. Okay. You can be more specific, please.
That's what I was trying to miss. So I'll give you a quick rundown.
I can
But I will
translate for Charlie.
say, I won't go through times of kickoffs and stuff because you know you can do your own research. There are some very, very big important games. I can't vouch for the quality of those games, but
It's not the
there is
point.
Exactly, there's some really, really important games.
Very
Some-
upset they're not on British Eurosport.
Yeah, I know. You might be able to. I don't know. You might be able to get them online. I don't know. You know, there might be ways
Don't
around it.
recommend illegal streaming.
No, I didn't say that. You said that. But there's some big games for some quite small and you know relatively small FAs. You know, to come through. So I'll go through like Group A's already decided. Senegal, Madagascar, they're both through already. You know, that's yeah. I don't know why you're cheering that.
Madagascar, baby.
Big game in Group B. So Morocco already through on 10 points. Then you've got Cameroon, and forgive my pronunciation, Comoros, I didn't even know had a football association.
Yeah.
So Comoros on 5 points, and Cameroon on 8 points,
Oh.
and there's only a goal in the goal difference, and they're playing each other.
Oh,
It's a
So-
big game.
Comoros, I can't even say the name. They need to win by 2 goals, don't they? Is that right? Yeah.
Yes,
No,
no,
one
one-
goal will actually swing it round. So we're 1-0 win and they're through. So for Cameroon, who I think are managed by Clarence Seedorf, aren't they? Sure they're managed by
I can't vouch for that, but if you've got that right, I'm very impressed.
Check. I'm sure. Check.
You
Anyway,
carry on.
massive game for them because they're obviously a huge footballing nation. Group C, Mali are through, and they are playing South Sudan, who are bottom and obviously 0 points. But Burundi and Gabon, only 2 points separate them. They're playing each other as well. So Gabon are on 7 points, Burundi on 9. Gabon managed by Daniel Kuzan, who we mentioned last week.
The Cameroon manager is Mr. Clarence Seedorf.
Charlie Betts is never going to do that again.
No. So that's already 2 big matches to look out for. Group D, another one. Algeria have gone through as group winners, but Benin and Togo, who are also playing each other, only 2 points separate them, both on negative goal difference and only 1 goal separate.
This is the final set of fixtures.
Final set of fixtures.
Oh,
so
fantastic.
there's 3 already out of 4 groups. 3 are decided.
It's all to play for.
Through. So obviously the top 2 from each group.
The
go
fixtures
through.
computer's been very kind here.
Yeah, another one. Group E, Nigeria through Nigeria on 10 points. In fact, sorry, 3 teams here. Nigeria on 10 points.
Yeah.
South Africa on 9 points. Libya on 7 points.
That is a strong group.
In terms of fixtures, Nigeria are playing the Seychelles, who are bottom, only got 1 point. So you'd probably say that Nigeria.
But then
so
we've got another decider.
A shootout between South Africa and Libya, which only 2 points between them.
Libya have got some good players.
Not much of a difference in goal difference there.
Obviously, the big boys in that group as well.
Unfortunately, due to things we've mentioned politically, Group F is a write-off because you've got Kenya, Ghana, Ethiopia, and Sierra Leone.
Yep.
Obviously, Sierra Leone's fixtures have all been expunged.
Yes.
So Ghana and Kenya are already through. They're just playing a dead rubber against each other, which is a bit of a shame, really. So Group G, we've got Zimbabwe. This one's a brilliant group because all 4 teams can qualify still. So Congo have got a lot to do, but you've got Zimbabwe on 8 points, Liberia on 7 points with a -3 goal difference.
Oh, that's key.
The Democratic Republic of Congo on 6 points and the Congo on 5 points.
Oh.
So Zimbabwe are playing Congo, so that's first. So team on 8 points versus team on on 5 points. So first versus fourth, and then the Democratic Republic of Congo versus Liberia. I'm getting there nearly. So, but I mean, Congo's the Congo's goal difference is actually the second best in the group. So if they win,
fourth and third
could potentially go
sneak
through. Could sneak through, yeah, because
Yes.
they're not
Should
playing
be a
each other.
brilliant game.
Well, we have to keep an eye on these. Have we got more groups?
We've got 5 more groups.
Well,
5
it's
more
like
groups.
your own
There's
league.
so much football, honestly, all the way
So
through.
much football
I think
in
it's
Africa.
Thursday, all the way through till Sunday.
Oh,
So if you
And
can
it's
catch
certainly
any-
going to be better than that Wednesday to Friday in Europe, where it's mostly international friendlies between 2 bog standard
The
nations.
first set.
Yes.
So Guinea are through probably as group winners, but you've got Ivory Coast on 8 points, the Central African Republic on 5 points, but they've got -4 goal difference. So Central African Republic are playing Guinea, who are top, and they've got to get an 8-goal swing. It's
think
not
they're
a group
good.
like
Is this
this
a group of 3?
So no, it's a group of 4. So that's Guinea, Ivory Coast, Central Africa. Oh, Rwanda are bottom.
Oh,
you know.
I was gonna say, what
Unfortunately,
happened
in
here?
these qualifications, most teams, with the exception of the group of 4, the bottom
There's
team
normally
at the bottom
3
are
decent
normally
and one
like,
crap.
So
like San Marino and Andorra.
San Marino and Andorra.
Group I, due to goal difference, Mauritiana, who are a tiny association of through, so that's a big coup for them. And then you've got Angola and Burkina Faso.
Wow,
You've got 2
Angola.
points between each other. They're not playing each other, but Burkina Faso are playing Mauritiana, so Burkina Faso are third. So you say they've got.
But
a
they're
hard
already
task.
through, so
You know, they might
Wow,
release
I'll tell you what,
their
Angola
later
are
players.
struggling. Wow.
Angola are second, yeah, and they're playing Botswana, who are bottom with only 1 point. Botswana are probably not known for their football. Group J is a write-off because Tunisia and Egypt both on 12 points,
Jesus,
won the
that's
group.
that's
Nigeria and Swaziland, I mean, that's a fairly... I mean,
Yeah,
you
sad
don't expect
just
both of those
good
to...
stuff.
Yeah. And Group K, we've got another tough group. 3 teams can go through here. So you've got Guinea-Bissau on 8 points.
Okay.
With plus 1 goal difference. Namibia 8 points, plus 1 goal difference.
wow.
Mozambique 7 points, 0 goal difference.
Oh, that's a
and
good
in terms
group.
of fixtures, Zambia, who are bottom, are playing Namibia.
How many
who are
points has
second.
Zambia got? Are they out?
They're on 4 points, but unfortunately they can't make because you've got 2 teams on 8. So
Zambia only won it in 2012.
yeah, so they're bottom on 4 points, and then you've got Guinea, Bissau, who are top versus Mozambique, who are third, which is out of all the games I'd like to watch that because you know in terms of the 3 teams who can qualify out of that.
That's a brilliant group.
And then finally, and this is a brilliant one because you've got Group L, last group to go through, Uganda, who are top, 13 points, walk the group. But for second place, you've got Lesotho, who's that tiny country inside South Africa, who are second, 5 points, -4 goal difference.
Right.
Tanzania, third, 5 points, -5 goal difference.
Ooh, only a goal in it.
Cape Verde, -1 goal difference on 4 points.
Oh,
So
it's
you've
a
got
shootout.
between
Second
three.
three.
This
So
is-
who's got the top team?
Tanzania, who are third with the worst goal difference out of the 3, got Uganda, who are top on 13 points.
But
they're
already through.
Already through by a clear margin. And you've got Cape Verde versus Lesotho. If Lesotho get through, that's incredible because they're such a tiny area. And
I guess this is going to be quite a important week for us in terms of fixtures because in the summer, most of our recordings will probably be alongside the African Cup of Nations.
and the Nations League.
I'm just putting it out there that I am going to be supporting Madagascar. What a
It's true
wonderful
though, yeah.
jungle they've got.
But I
And
just
a
think,
great
like,
film, sorry.
how often do you get that in the European qualifiers where you have that many groups that are decided on the last day? I think that's incredible.
Yeah, I think it's a really
something
good
we should
story.
look forward to. But yeah, anyway, so that's our African Cup of Nations updates.
So finally, from the big stories, Craig, you wanted to talk about a local team that had been selected.
Yeah, so it's the Bedfordshire FA's 125th
You like that
celebrations. As if I wasn't expecting that. So yes, so they're going to play the England C team, which is obviously the non-leagues,
Yeah.
like National League,
National League
North,
down
South.
to and then there's one player from the league below the last.
Yeah. So that game we played at Kenilworth Road, the home of Luton Town Football Club. But the controversy for the Bedfordshire FA side is it's mainly between two teams.
Well, not mainly. It
is.
is.
I say
By one player, there's not
one
in
player
Bedfordshire.
who is not playing in a team in Bedfordshire, but he's playing it because he's represented. The manager that selected him
Yeah.
was the Bedfordshire rep captain.
It's
Political.
the most
Political.
tenuous. I mean, the team that he plays for play in Middlesex. It's not like they're playing Hertfordshire, which is a neighbouring county to Bedfordshire. Middlesex.
It's the next county over.
Absolutely ridiculous.
So obviously, the many players are from Bedford Town and Biggleswade Town, which are both in step. Well, one's in step 3 and the other one's in step 4. Now, considering you got 4 other sides in step 4, and then 5 other teams. AFC Dunstable Town, AFC Kempston Rovers, Barton Rovers, and then you got about 5 teams in Crawley Green, Stockfold, Arsley Town, etc., etc.
There's so many teams.
Yeah.
Exactly. So obviously, to celebrate 125 years as a county football association is fantastic, but you have made a mockery of your selection.
Completely undermined the game. Completely, in my opinion, completely undermined it. And I boycotted it.
This is where you should set. Obviously, you have to expand a whole Bedfordshire. You should be.
It's a representative team.
Obviously, we had a little discussion on Twitter with other people, but someone put a suggestion of having at least two represent from each club. That's at a certain levels, like step level, which I totally agree on. Obviously, but you can't just. You can. It's a manager. Should just recommend speak to the club's manager. Can have 2 players represent, and then the guy can pick 2 players that could associate with. So it represents AFC Dunstable, it represents Crawley Green, it represents Stockport,
you want to represent the county.
It represents Arsley Town, it represents Leighton Town.
You've led on to the bit that I wanted to talk about out of this, which is what you didn't mention is the manager and assistant manager for this game, who are from Biggleswade and Bedford Town, which represents the entire team and apparently the whole of Bedfordshire now.
Yeah.
So my problem with this is you've got an opportunity here, taking aside the brilliance of the idea, the 125-year game, you've got a chance to bring the teams together in the county and celebrate what's good about them.
Yeah,
a chance for people to learn from each other, clubs to commingle as such, because there'll be representatives from each club there.
You're never going to do that normally because you're competing against each other.
More importantly,
it's basically like the rugby with like the Barbarians. It should be treated like that.
And more importantly, even the same as England internationals at a very top level, you should be getting picked on merit.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
I find it hard to believe that those, as much as Biggleswade Town and Bedford may be the best 2 teams in the county, I don't know that, I don't watch them enough to say that. There is no chance that not one player from any other team in the county is not good enough to get in there or hasn't worked hard enough.
Give you a bit of context.
What a great opportunity for say someone from Leighton Town to be playing against an England C team.
Play at Kenilworth Road.
Play at
for
Kenilworth
crying
Road.
out loud. Do you know what I mean? When else are you going to get, unless you get to a county cup final, which
Senior
obviously
cup
only
final.
took
Or as a kid.
do you know what I mean? But the bit that got me, if you look at the is it step 3? I always get the numbers mixed up. Step 3, which like Bedford now are on.
Step 3 is Biggleswade Town. Step
Okay,
4 is
so step 4, you've got Bedford Town, for example. They've got 2 centre forwards from Bedford Town. Fine.
Paul Benson's 37.
Listen. You look at the leading goal scorer.
Yeah, Paul Benson's in it.
Yeah, you look at the goal scorer.
He's never played there before, has he?
Yeah, you look at
Nice
the goal
except
scoring.
Ben Friday.
You look at the
Sorry.
No, you look at the goal scoring charts for that.
So I
league.
was saying about Paul Benson. Sorry, go on.
Nice
No,
guy,
but
very nice
if you
guy.
do look at the goal scoring charts for that league, none of those players from Bedford Town or obviously Biggleswade, but there's not a single player in the top 10. Yet there's two from teams in Bedfordshire.
Well, there were a couple
of AFC Dunstable and Barton Rovers.
BJ
How can
Christie
you tell me? How can you tell me they don't deserve? I mean, if you're top of the goal scoring charts in your county, how can you not be selected for the county representative?
There were a couple of people in the who responded to that and commented that even though they're not their players' manager, how can you not play these players?
Yeah.
They're top of all the charts. They're working hard. They were brilliant.
Someone hit the nail on the
would
head for
agree
me.
with you.
Someone hit the nail on the head for me. I mean, I don't know these lads personally, but they might be better players than other players in other clubs in the area. But that's the point.
Yeah.
The result on that day is
not-
completely irrelevant. When England C play Beds FA, the result is completely irrelevant. It is meant to celebrate everything that's good with football in this county at that particular level. And for me, I think they've completely missed the opportunity, and it's a jobs for the boys thing. And it's all the time that, and I'm not just saying the Beds FA, I'm sure this happens elsewhere in the country, all the time that people like that are involved with football and making those sorts of decisions, no wonder people get pissed off and put off for the game.
And do you know what's going to happen aside from those 2 clubs? Everyone else in Bedfordshire, or the majority of the other clubs in Bedfordshire who have just been completely overlooked, they're going to go, oh, typical Beds FA.
Yeah, exactly.
And then the Beds FA are the people who have then got to work with those clubs to help make the leagues better, to make the structures better on a Saturday afternoon, or Sunday morning for the under-18s, reserves, whatever else. And those people are the ones that have been overlooked.
Yeah.
And they're then going to be more resistant to working with the Beds FA. They're going to be more resistant to fines
and silly things like,
tariffs
if I was these teams now, personally, I would say, right, you want to hold a county cup final at our ground, we're going to double the price now, or something like that. You completely ignore us, and I don't like using the term mug us off, but essentially that. And then you want us to say host a county cup final for you, or I don't know, do this tournament, this Beds FA initiative, or host a coaching course at our venue, or something. Why are we going to do that? You completely overlook us at the time when
the next county cup finals at Bedford and Miggleswade.
Yeah, which is fine, but the problem being with that is that eventually people are going to get pissed off with travelling to the same part. But it just reeks. It reeks of backhandedness.
It's a dangerous precedent.
But yeah,
normally we would say football is for everyone, but the Beds FA, you have not made football for everyone. Based in South Luton. Anyway, moving on.
Any other business?
Got
some little stories.
Yeah, so obviously I'm going to talk about, obviously, a club had to fold today. That's sad news. North Ferriby United, we've mentioned a few times, obviously financial problems. They were going to move to East Hull. Unfortunately, today they've been wound up and now they have folded. They've been liquidated, actually, shall I say.
Yeah.
So the rest of the league games have obviously now gone. They can't play, which is a shame. No club should fold.
And we've mentioned it before. It affects the rest of the league. It can affect promotions, relegations, and things as well.
Yeah, exactly. And obviously, all the points per game system all changes around now because obviously someone had to fold, which is not nice.
And the biggest problem for me with this, and it's a bit of a sad story for me, because the game I remember, the first time probably I'd heard of North Ferriby United, other than in Football Manager, was the 2015 FA Trophy final.
Yes.
The reason I remember it is because it's the first one that was live on BT Sport after they got the rights to it. It was North Ferriby v Wrexham. It was one of the best non-league games I've ever watched.
It was 3-2?
3-3 after extra time. North Ferriby United won 5-4 on penalties. It was an absolutely brilliant game of football, and they were in the Conference North at the time. And after winning that trophy, I know it's not a huge incentive financially, but they were really looking to push on as a club. There were thousands of fans there from the local community at Wembley. And then it just proves again how problems off the pitch can take fans away from a club, can take people away from their community. And what are the people of those towns and villages going to do now, surrounding areas?
Wow.
You find another club, but they may go bust. And it links back to non-league football's financial troubles, which we mentioned in our first ever episode. And it's starting to become a problem. More and more teams are folding every season.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I totally agree.
However, on the other side of that, one of Craig's ones from last week, off camera, I can confirm it was off camera.
Thank you very much.
I say off camera, off microphone. Off air, yes. Was you had stated that Oadby Town would be liquidated.
I did, I was gutted because Oadby Town are currently in the United Counties League and at the last minute they've been saved.
Which you're not gutted about.
Well, actually, I'm absolutely delighted that they've been saved.
But it's a local business, so we do need to urge caution here, because it's local businessmen have offered to come in and help till the end of the season.
Yes.
Just so the league fixtures get fulfilled. It's still very uncertain after that point.
But luckily, obviously, the records doesn't get expansion carrying for us.
Do you want some very quick headlines? Unfortunately, we didn't get to talk about Darren Moore and West Brom, but that's obviously...
that was the main story?
No, to balance it for Craig, I was going to mention it briefly in here anyway, but I've got a nice positive one to end on, because Craig said I moan too much, so I'm going to do something.
Well, really quickly, I've got some headlines for you.
Also, yeah, but you briefly talk about Darren Moore then?
Yeah,
that's ridiculous, people.
Yeah, that was shocking.
I think the problem with that one is there's been a big debate, and everything that needs to be said or could have been said relating to all the issues we've talked about, societal ones earlier in this episode and footballing ones. Either way, from a footballing point of view, I take the point of some West Brom fans. We've won 1 in 9 at home, and it's been poor football for the last couple of months. We've said it before. We've mentioned it. I think it was last week we mentioned about Charlton and Bolton and clubs like that. Be careful what you wish for.
Yeah, no.
Well,
to be fourth in the Championship is a bloody good achievement.
It's a good achievement. They lost Harvey Barnes in January. I think that kind of derailed them a bit.
The club, don't forget, last April, this club was in disarray.
Yeah. Some headlines?
Yes.
Right, unfortunately, I'll kick off with one that's quite funny, but also not quite funny, really, for the club. Brecon City, we're trying to do a fundraiser. Obviously, a lower league club in Scotland. A murder mystery event, but they had to cancel the evening because they didn't have enough interest even to fill the number of characters that they needed to run the murder mystery evening. I know you should laugh, because they actually said, we've seen other clubs like Sheffield Wednesday, Wolves, Bristol Rovers, Hibs and Dundee. Now obviously they're a lot bigger than Brecon City.
They're all a lot bigger, yeah.
The cost was £25 for a ticket, including the buffet and a disco.
disco.
But unfortunately,
The disco would stop me going.
well, they needed
disco's
at least.
important.
They needed at least, obviously, 12. There were 12 characters to play. They didn't even sell 12 tickets. Let alone having the 12 characters. You then also got to have people to interview the 12 characters. So you need a sizable amount of
I
people.
know you're saying the 25 quid includes a buffet and a disco, which on the face of it isn't terrible value.
Yeah, but charge our slide, man.
But you've got to put it into perspective with, realistically, are people going to be able to afford that or willing to do that if there's not, say, a celebrity speaker or things like that?
Yeah, there is that. So it's a shame because it was going to be a nice fundraiser for a club that, at that level of football, they're always after.
But at the end, it's probably cost them money.
Mick Foley was at Sheffield United, with WWE Hall of Famer.
Yes, I saw
obviously,
that.
he came to, Billy Sharp invited him to, obviously, did his celebration against Norwich.
Yeah.
Came and turned up, fair play to him.
Yeah, I've got a couple of really quick ones. So in the Irish Premiership, they've released another set of fixtures that are going to go on TV. We obviously, on the BBC, we like to watch as much free football as you can. The big one being Linfield and Ballymena, so the top two. Only 6 points separate the two teams.
Ballymena got
a game in hand, so that could potentially, depending on how the fixtures go between now and then, that could be a game where they draw level on points, or essentially Linfield maybe take a step towards.
You've led me to one I almost forgot. Next Saturday, just before our ramble comes out, 5:30, the Iron Brew Cup final is on S4C, BT Sport, and BBC Alba and all the other channels, so you can watch it for free with foreign commentary or on BT Sport if you've got it for English commentary.
Careful.
You know what I mean? Commentary
that
you may not understand.
But I think it is good, for people.
It's great that it's on for free.
I was about to say,
I
think it's good for people who may be new to even this podcast that get yourself looking on BBC because they've been very good recently. Again,
BBC
a lot of
Scotland, Northern Ireland,
regionalised domestic games. Really quickly. Unbelievably, we're not going to debate this because I know how you feel about this, Craig, but just so you know, Rangers have appealed against the yellow card
saw this earlier.
given to Alfredo Morelos' dive. But I can't believe the audacity to even appeal for that. It was the most ridiculous dive I've ever seen. But we have to move on, Craig, because we are getting very near the end of the time.
He's biting
and
his
the last one, which we spoke about, and it is a beautiful shirt, and for the first time ever, England women's team have now got their own football shirt, their own specific shirt for the Women's World Cup coming up. Kit. Which is, I think it's amazing.
I think the kit looks absolutely fantastic.
And as you said, it's a
gorgeous.
fantastic shirt as well.
And so the Germany one.
Well done for actually honouring it.
It's a really nice kit. I wanted, if I could, to finish on something that I found this week that I thought was really nice. Obviously, there's been a lot of mention. We've mentioned it before in this podcast, actually. The EFL has sponsorship and a partnership with a mental health charity.
Yes.
And we've mentioned and highlighted that there's been awareness days and things like that. But I was mentioning a club in non-league or Sunday League, which is a little bit different to normal. They're a team called Sands United. They're at the moment playing in Northampton in the Neen Sunday League Division 4. But this isn't a normal Sunday League team. I've got this article off thebeautifulgame.com.
Oh, okay, yes.
And I'll credit them for it because it's a really good article. They're a team who are made up of dads who've lost their children either during pregnancy or young after they were born.
Amazing, yeah.
It's just brought community together. They'd originally organised it as a sort of one-off charity game and fundraiser for people in the local community. And it sort of led to them becoming a team. And actually, it's almost sort of a sports group / support group.
Yeah, no, it's incredible. I've read about it's amazing work.
The work they do is incredible, and the work they've done to highlight these things are fantastic. And they're also still doing a lot of charity work alongside it, raising money. They're starting to get some sponsorship things as well. No. They've been allowed by the league, which we have to credit leagues because we've spent a lot of time in the guestifying, criticising. They've let them under their badges put the name of the child.
Oh, I've heard about that. Yeah, that's
really
amazing.
Nice. It's a lovely touch.
Nice.
But I just wanted to highlight them and say. They're not top of the league or anything, but who cares?
It doesn't matter.
But football's for everyone, and it's the winner.
And that's a beautiful side of it. It is now my favourite part of the show, which is the Nameless Matchday Squad, unofficially sponsored by Mr. Noe Pamaro.
Following the last 2 weeks, go back and check them out.
Yeah, please do, because it's funny.
I'm going to choose a game, which I'll tell you the theme of why I've chosen that game in a minute, but you're going to name a player from each side who played in the game, and I don't think you'll get to this point, but even the substitutes who maybe come on. But if we still tiebreaker, it's obviously any subs who didn't come onto the pitch. It is sudden death.
Oh, I was just going to say, you forgot to mention that.
It's always sudden death.
And midweek, there was, Arsenal were playing in the Europa League, and they made an incredible comeback. Oh. Now, I trawled through and thought, whatever incredible comebacks did Arsenal make? And I've gone back to Reading versus Arsenal on the 30th of October, 2012. It's a League Cup tie played in front of 23,980 people.
At the Majewski.
I will give it, if it helps you, it did go to extra time, so
it did.
Both teams made 3 subs.
It was a crazy game.
It was a crazy game. Obviously, the score finished 7-5.
Yep.
Whose turn is it to go first?
It's Cody's turn.
It's my
to
turn
go
to go
first.
first.
So Charlie, cue the music.
That means I'm going to lose. Let's
Happy
do the
days.
first player. I'm going to go for the Arsenal keeper because I know he made at least one howler in
He
that
did
game.
make a howler, yeah.
Is at the time I believe he went by the commentator's name of Damian Martinez, but his actual name is Emiliano Martinez.
Emiliano Martinez, yes, he started. He actually got booked in the 114th minute.
Time waste.
There you go. Okay.
I will go for Theo Walcott.
What's the other one? Oh god.
Yes, Theo Walcott even. Fucking hell.
You're having a mare today.
Theo Walcott got a hat trick that day.
He
That's
did.
what I was trying to say. Yes.
That's the only time.
Well, unfortunately,
Cody's out.
probably me out. Let's think about some players that were there at the time.
I mean, Reading. Yeah. Cool.
Interesting. If it was Reading 5 years before that, I'd be flying. But you know, when the likes of Ibrahim Sonko were about,
What a great player. He got Inga Marson.
oh
Wow.
brilliant player.
Yeah. Anyway, let's go.
Neither of them played them.
No,
No, they didn't. No. Good job I didn't say. I am going to go for Robin van Persie. It's him or Eduardo.
No, Robin van Persie left the season before.
I was 12-13 in it.
Yeah,
I'm not
you
11-12.
melt.
Oh, what a tip.
Unfortunately.
Well, can I just say?
Van
Robin van
Persie won the
Persie
league for
didn't
United
play.
that season.
Oh no, that's awful. Just proves I don't watch much Premier League football. The briefing before we started naming the matchday squad was make it short because we overran in the Rambles. So
Yeah,
I've
there you go.
delivered.
He's
So,
doing it again.
Craig, you need to just get a correct
It's
answer.
that music.
The music kills you.
The countdown style music is killing me.
It's been an absolute revelation. What a genius
People
idea
are
by
not
me.
even
We saved time and now we're wasting it
Yeah.
again.
It's wasting more
So
minutes.
I'm gonna go for a Reading player, and
It doesn't fucking matter, does it?
it does, because I might get it wrong. His name is Jason Roberts.
Yes, and he scored after.
He scored the first
12
goal?
Minutes.
Yes.
Right, really quickly, the Reading squad was Adam Federici, Chris Gunter, Casper Gorks, Sean Morrison, Nicky Shorey, Jay Tabb, Gareth McCleary, Mikhail Leisurewood, Hal Robson-Carnu, Jason Roberts, and Noel Hunt. Subs coming on that day were Pavel Pogbreniak, I never say that.
That was the guy I couldn't remember his name.
Joby McAnuff and Simon Church.
Churchy.
Also on the bench for Reading were Stuart Taylor, Alex Pearce, Adam Lafondra, and Ian Hart, believe it or not. For Arsenal, we had Martinez in goal, Carl Jenkinson, Lauren Koscielny, Johan Dujarou, Ignacy Miguel. Have I said that wrong?
Johan Juru.
That's what I meant. Andre Arshavin, Emmanuel Frimpong, Francis Coquelin, Theo Walcott, Marianne Shamak, and Serge Gnabry. Or Serge Gnabry over his 8, I don't know.
Yeah,
Coming off the bench for Arsenal that day, Olivier Giroud, Thomas Eastfeld, and Junaid Mead, local
Meaty
superstar.
boy.
And on the
Who
bench
then
for
couldn't get in the
Arsenal,
Luton team a year later.
who didn't come on, were James Shea, who I assume is the keeper.
James Shea is the Luton goalkeeper
Oh,
now.
is it really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that. Sorry, yeah. Sebastian Scalacci, Hector Bellerin, and Nico Giannaris.
Well, just a little funny fact that Emmanuel Frimpong's retired.
Oh, he has.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, it is 10-4, and how many more are we going to put up with Cody losing?
Well, it
every week?
depends how many more weeks we play that fucking music. It was
The music is
choral,
staying.
it was a fantastic competition, and then you put that stupid music in it, and I have wilted like a contestant on Countdown playing against a master
Well,
champion.
I tell you what, you need to accept it and move on. And that is it for today's Ramble. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and you can follow us on Twitter @HonestFootball3. And we'll see you next time.